You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good, and you have chosen to use your most valuable asset, your time, to tune in to the Joy of Living podcast with your humble host, Barry Shore, because you know that on this show, we will be discussing the three fundamentals of life. And when you utilize these three fundamentals of life, you will become happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? And we're going to rock your world today with a dear friend who's going to give us insights into happiness that I dare say you didn't know before. And it will help you because whenever you get helped to become happier, you'll be healthier. I'm talking physically, mentally, spiritually, and wealthier in every single aspect of wealth. So again, I applaud you for utilizing your time to consciously and conscientiously tune in to the Joy of Living podcast. And let's talk about right away the three fundamentals of life, which are number one, your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, number two happens. In this case, a good number two, you go MAD. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the third fundamental is to uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Simple example. Everybody in the world loves to wear this regularly, and that is SMILE. Now, SMILE is a wonderful acronym that stands for seeing miracles in life every day. Seeing miracles in life every day. So let me tell you a quick story. Recently, I was speaking to a group, 1,172 people. And I'm telling the story about Barry Shore, which I'll tell you in just a little bit, and talking about seeing miracles in life every day. And some people raise their hands and say, hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours, I haven't seen any miracles. And I asked them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I barely can do that. Do you have a place to eat? Do you have family? You have friends? You have things that allow you to live in life? Every single one of those is a miracle. And what's the proof? Simplest proof in the world. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching or listening, you have an obligation to live life to the full. You are hardwired for happiness and to live life to the full. You'll hear more about that in just a little bit when we talk with Ashish. So right now, I want you to understand a quick story about me. Now, thank God we have over 350,000 people to listen every week. And you're always asking your friends and family to join. So pretty soon we'll be over 400,000 every week. And I ask you, please just share this with 5 people. That's it, 5. So that we can touch 2 million people every week with the message of joy, happiness, peace, and love. So here's a quick story about Barry Shore. Imagine, if you can, standing up in the morning, completely healthy, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, and that evening being in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed, not from an automobile accident, not a spinal injury. A rare disease took over my body, which I never heard of the day before, and rendered me what's called a quadriplegic. Quadriplegic means nothing in my body moved from my neck down. I could only communicate by blinking my eyes. I was 144 days in the hospital. I was in a hospital bed in my own home for 2 years. I couldn't turn over by myself. I was in a wheelchair for 4 years. I had braces on both my legs from my hips to my ankles. That was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand made for me by a Zen master. But I still can't walk up a stair by myself. I can't walk up a curb by myself. I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, but you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, all because of one word. Smile. Seeing miracles in life every day. But I got to tell you a quick story. My 8-year-old niece comes over to me a few weeks ago. She says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile Smiel? I thought about it. Smile, smile, sounds the same. Why not? I asked her, how come? She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life out of the mouth of an 8-year-old. But what was she doing? She was creating the kind of world she wants to live in. Now, CREATE is a fabulous acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. Rethinking, that is the key of life. It's the title of my newest book, which is called Oh Shift, because it's really just about a small shift in perspective. I can tell you, I've been working with people for more than 42 years. 97.2% of all the people I begin to work with drop the F in shift, and the other stuff happens. You got to be careful with your Fs. So we're talking about a shift in perspective, just tiny bit, and everything changes. And then you'll be able to internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever know. And these words are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation will determine where you're going and the trajectory. Now, before we bring on our amazing, wonderful guest, Ashish, I want to warn him and new listeners that your humble host does use a lot of 4-letter words. I even use the 4-letter FU word, and I do it for the shock value, and it's fun. Now, of course, we live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. So the 4-letter words that we use are love, life, hope, free, gift, pray, play, swim. And the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun, yes, FU, capital N, capital N. So right away, some people, purists in the audience, raising hands, hey, Barry, sure, fun's only spelled with 3 letters. Not in our world. In the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, fun is spelled FU, capital N, capital N. So after the show, when you see your family and friends, what you have a twinkle in your eye, a smile on your face, remember that stands for point your finger and tell your family and friends, FU, everybody. But remember to add right away, capital N, capital N. Say, what are you talking about? So I listen to Barry Shore on the Joy of Living podcast, and he wants to teach the world to FU, capital N, capital N. So just before we bring on Ashish, I'm going to urge everybody from this day forward to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language and use them 3 times a day, consciously and conscientiously. You do this, you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. The Dalai Lama has been quoted as saying, I read in his writings, be kind whenever possible. And he says it's always possible. So imagine you go into your coffee shop and you order a fancy latte and you sit down and somebody brings it to you. You say, thank you. Go to the coffee shop, you order a fancy latte, and a couple of minutes go by, nobody brings it. You go to the counter and say, oh, I'm sorry, we forgot, we're busy, we'll bring it to you. Sit down, a couple of minutes go by, somebody brings it, you still say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop, it's raining out. Somebody holds the door open for you. You say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop, it's raining out, somebody slams the door on you. You say, thank you. You're in traffic, late for an appointment, somebody cuts you off. You say, thank you. Get up in the middle of the night and you stub your toe and it hurts. You say, thank you. To harmonize and nurture kindness. Kind is a fabulous word that stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. I can't think of anybody that inspires noble deeds that I want to share with you than the wonderful, amazing Ashish Kothari. Ashish, please say hello to 366,819 people around the world.
Hi, everybody. Such a joy to be with you, Barry. So lovely to be with you and reach so many of your listeners and viewers.
Now, by the way, 2 things. First of all, I hope if you're only listening, you can hear the lilt in his voice. It's joyful. But if you're watching, you can see this beatific smile on his face. It lightens up the room. It's so wonderful. Now, when was the last time somebody said F you to you, Ashish, and you smiled?
I love it. I love it, Barry.
Let's just jump right in. because people want to hear from you. I've been building this up, and this is truly fabulous. Ashish, if I started reading you all the things about Ashish and what he does and has done in the world of business and in the world of enabling people that are deep in business situations, large organizations like McKinsey and places like that, that what he's able to do to enable people to touch their inner being and release the happiness function inside of them, it would take me too long to read his CV. So suffice to say that he's going to tell us something. He's going to drop some names and tell us some stuff. But I just want to jump right in because we have an amazing topic that we're going to discuss. Actually, three. The first topic is I want you, Ashish, please articulate the issue. We'll even call it a problem. What do you see as a global issue or problem today?
Yeah. So, Barry, I loved your opening, and I loved, all the things that you mentioned, that we are living in a world filled with miracles, right? And yet there's so many of us who are walking. We are literally being crushed under the weight of our prosperity. So think about this, friends. Think about these four crises, these four contradictions that we seem to be living into. We are more prosperous than ever before, any generation before. The number of people living in poverty has dropped from about 50% to less than 10% today. And yet we are consuming more than ever, and we are more stressed. We are not necessarily happier. We are living longer than ever, thanks to all the advances in medicine. All the things that killed us, we have kind of basically eliminated them: tuberculosis, influenza, and others. Now we are actually creating our own illnesses. Top three drivers of death being cancer, heart disease, and stress, right? And then three, we are more connected than ever before. In fact, now we need a digital detox. What was that word, Barry, 25 years ago? We didn't need to be, we needed to be more connected than now we want to be disconnected. And yet, more of us are lonely. 60% of Americans report feeling loneliness. The numbers are not any different in the world either. And finally, I talk about convenience, right? We can do things at 90% less time than it did before. Ordering groceries, booking travel, doing financial transactions. We should be swimming in free time and spending time enjoying each other's companies and making a difference. And where are we today? We are busier than ever, feeling the need to get on our phones, connect over holidays, taking very little breaks. So think about these paradoxes, right? And think also about this fact that the first time in life, we are living in a world where there's a crisis in every level: economic, ecological, political, humanitarian. In every domain, right? Things are getting worse. That is the problem that I went to solve through the work that we are doing.
Okay, let me put you on pause for a moment because you were so capable of articulating the issue / problem.
Yes.
And let's call them problems. And they are the problems of the first world, no matter where you live in the world. There is no such thing. There, of course, there are still many areas of the world that we can call second and third world countries. But even in the United States, there are parts of the world that are second and third level. It's just the nature of what's happening. And so there are people that are, I love this line that you use, crushed by prosperity. Yeah. What an amazing idea, which could not have been said 25 years ago, like you said. Okay, there were some people that were realizing it, but this epidemic of loneliness, which you mentioned, and it all, in my humble opinion, originates from stress and people's on misunderstanding of stress and not being able to use stress well. Barry Shaw has a great acronym for stress we won't talk about now because this is your time. Suffice it to say that in my books and what I stress in when I work with people and give my impressions of life and such and share, and it really is helpful for people, is that you can use stress to your advantage. But I want to go back to
Absolutely.
the issue that you mentioned, the contradiction of we should be swimming in free time. I love it because that's what I do. I swim. And my swimming, only because I wouldn't call it free time. I make time to do that. So
Yes,
let's go to this contradiction. We should be swimming in free time, and yet
we're
we're not.
not.
So why? Give us, okay, that we set up the problem. Why? And now we're going to talk about some solutions.
Absolutely. So, friends, I went looking for the answer behind these paradoxes in three fields that oftentimes, are not connected. So, one, I looked for answers in the field of spirituality. I looked for answers in the field of psychology and neurosciences, and I looked in the philosophical traditions. And what I found when I put the pieces together, here is what I invite you to consider. Look, we all evolved over millions of years. Our brains evolved as amazing prediction making machines to keep us safe, not to keep us happy. We were really good at spotting
I
danger.
would like you to repeat that, please, because this is an insight that is, you said the words, I want people to hear it again. We are wired to be kept safe, not
Not
necessarily
happy.
happy.
Yes. Our brains have a negativity bias. We look for the negative because that 20,000 years ago was the tiger or the lion that was going to eat us. We are all lucky descendants of people whose flight, fright, freeze responses, this prediction making machines, this mechanism that's hardwired into our bodies was much better than the others. That's why we survived and rose to the top of the food chain. But wherein lies the boon, lies the curse. Life is always about the polarities. It's the yin and the yang. There is nothing is all good and nothing is all bad. There are always two sides. Here's what's happening. This mechanism, our brain's ability to sense threat and respond to it, does not differentiate between physical threats and psychological threats. In the case of physical threats like tigers, we react through adrenaline and cortisol ready to fight or run. In psychological threats, we react the same way, but literally become 30% less smart, right? Daniel Goleman called it the amygdala hijack.
I want you, I'm going to pause for a moment because I just wrote this down. And that is the issue that we're going to be dealing with. Kind of talk about the brain. Now, there are many parts of the brain, but the two parts that I believe Ashish is going to mention, I'm going to mention now. There's the amygdala,
Yes,
and then there's the prefrontal cortex.
that's right.
And most people, like you mentioned about the bias towards negativity, that's because you're using your amygdala, which most people, by the way, can't spell, don't have an idea where it is, but it's worth it to look it up and see where it is inside of you. And really what you want to do is you want to make a shift, keep that F in place, towards your prefrontal cortex.
Yes.
So tell me about the hijack of the amygdala.
Yeah. So when we are in an amygdala hijack, our bodies are swimming in adrenaline and cortisol. Our focus goes to the threat. Everything else around it blurs. Think about how terrible that can be when you're dealing with a boss or a colleague that you're having an argument with. We lose perspective of everything else around us, and all of a sudden they appear like the biggest threat. Now imagine that this is happening 8-10 times in a day because our environment outside is more complex than ever before, our ability to hold it. And that, Barry, is at the heart of this crisis, because we are constantly being hardwired for fear because we are struggling so hard to control this outside world, which you can't control. Right?
So, excuse me, that also sounds like a paradox.
Yes, you cannot control. Think about anything, dear friends out there, that you can say, I control that 100%. There is nothing that we can control even 50, 70%. But there is one thing that you can
Oh, wait a
control.
minute. I want to hold you on that pause. That's what we call the classic cliffhanger. We're going to go to a short commercial break, and the people that we bring on and that we urge you to use and such is only because we vetted them and we appreciate them. So we're going to take a short break, come right back, and you're going to hear from Ashish what it is that you can do. Wow! Be right back after the short break. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey, everybody. You know me, Barry Shore, and you know my story. Standing up in the morning, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. That night, being in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed. Talk about a change of life. I was faced with lots of issues, difficulties, paths forward, if there was to be one. And I'm here to tell you that finding advice from professional people makes all the difference, certainly in my life. And I would urge everybody to consider doing so in your life. And if you've ever had the opportunity to find someone or some two people that are really matched up with you, then you know it makes a difference. I urge you to consider using BetterHelp. BetterHelp, if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, so it's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill in a brief questionnaire. I've done it to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. This is your opportunity to make a difference and become the best you possible. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/joy of living today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/joy of living. BetterHelp, HELP.com/joy of living. Best wishes. Bye now. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good looking people. You're good looking, because you're always looking for and finding the good. We have good in abundance. Our cup runneth over with good. He's a dear friend named Ashish Kothari, and he is giving us insights that you think you know, and you really do, and you want to learn more. You're leaning in, and everything you want to know that Ashish is discussing, by the way, is available by going to my website, barryshore.com. BARRYSHORE, barryshore.com. Everything about Ashish and everything he's offering is there. So just go and visit. Remember to share this with 5 friends. Love us on all the different places we listen to podcasts. Share with 5 friends because we want to touch 2 million people. That's the key. So, yes, on the cliffhanger, Ashish, where are we? There's one thing that you can control.
Do.
Ah!
And that is you can control and master your inner world, right? Imagine this for a moment. Do a thought experiment with me. If you're watching us, where do you see Barry and I right now? If you're watching it on the computer, you might say, well, I'm watching you on my computer. Where else do you think I'm seeing you? But let's go back to our 6th, 7th grade science lessons. Where are you really seeing Barry and I? We have light that is reflecting off the screen, going into your retina, forming a little image at the back of your head. And your brain is interpreting that as Barry and I because Barry introduced us. Hence, you know, I'm Ashish and Barry is Barry. For those who are listening to us, where are you hearing us? Again, sound waves coming from your headphone or your speakers, going into your eardrums vibrating, little sensors, sensations going into your brain that's interpreting it and putting language so you can understand us. Because we are speaking in English, a language you know and I know, so it makes sense. If you didn't know English, this would just be gibberish. So again, who is making sense of the words? You are. Based on what? your prior experiences of what Barry has said and what others around have said, and even the meaning of words. When you touch somebody, where do they feel you? Again, in you, little electrical impulses on the skin being interpreted as feeling of touch. So everything we experience in us. This is something I learned from work I did with Sadhguru. He's an Indian mystic. He teaches a course in our engineering, and it changed my worldview.
And what is his name again?
His name is Sadhguru.
Right. I want everybody to hear that because I'm a very big fan of his. I watch every so often or whenever I can. And if it comes into my feed, I watch it and then I search it out because he speaks truth.
Yes,
And it pierces and it changes and it's uplifting. And it's not based on anything other than reality.
that's it.
That's it. It's
Your
reality. Don't look
experience.
at what he's dressed like. Doesn't matter. It's reality. Thank you.
It's about your experience. And that's what I want you to tune into, dear friends, right? And that's why it touched me. Think about it. Everything you see in you. Everything you hear in you. Everything you feel in you. That means you are the creator of every experience in you. And this was the question that put me on my quest and on my learning of mastery that took me through 550 different books and tons of retreats and courses with psychologists and neuroscientists and other, which was, if we create our own experience, then why not instead choose happiness versus anger, resentment, fear, anxiety, shame, guilt? If we are creating our own experience, if we can't control anything out there, why should we give up the control of what we are experiencing in here to the outside world?
And the answer to the question is we shouldn't. Not
Yes.
just we. And I want to emphasize something that I usually do several times before this point, Ashish. This show, The Joy of Living, is not about Barry Shore, fabulous fellow that he is, or even our wonderful Ashish, this amazing, insightful being. It's not about him. It's about you. This is only about you becoming the best you, because that's what you want.
That's
You
it.
tuned in today because you care the most in the entire world about the most important person in your life. You become the best you. And guess what happens? The world becomes a better place. And the acronym for the word joy is Journey of You. It's about you. Now, the word us, interestingly enough, wonderful Ashish, us stands for united souls. When you begin to understand and internalize, utilize, and leverage what Ashish is sharing with us now, then the us becomes united souls. There is no place for loneliness. The word alone, A-L-O-N-E, is mispronounced. It really should be pronounced all one. When that is your perspective, when you shifted, remember to keep that F in place, your perspective, and you're internalizing, utilizing, leveraging what Ashish is sharing with us, then guess what happens? You created a wonderful world. It's yours.
And you did it from the change you made within you.
Oh,
You don't need anybody's permission. You don't need any collaboration for the other, even though that will come. But the first step you take is within. That's it. It is as simple, but as hard. Because, Barry, as you and I both know, and so many others, we today, another paradox, we're swimming in knowledge. There is so much out there around how to live your best life. There's so much we know, right? We are swimming in knowledge. We are parched for practice.
oof.
Knowledge doesn't
Let's
change
just
us.
shift. Let's do a little shift on something. And I believe you'll agree with this. It appears that we're swimming in knowledge. And I think the real What you're really saying is, in quotation marks, we're drowning in knowledge.
Yes.
And what's one of the beautiful things about the joy of living, and I appreciate your comments, I get them every week, thank God, by the thousands, is that we've mentioned on this show many times that knowledge is distinct from wisdom. Really, what we seek is wisdom. And
Yes.
when you're working with the inner self, that is what you will find. You'll find
Exactly. Exactly.
wisdom.
That's it, right? We truly are drowning. We're truly drowning. But think about it, friends. We are parched for practice. We don't have time. We're so busy, even though we can do so much more, that we don't practice. And that's what we ended up, Barry, creating, right? Which I'm so excited. We got united, friends, because of a similar mission. Barry wanted to create a platform, an opportunity to give away $1 billion. And I was caught by that vision. I was like, oh my God, that is amazing. And I left a 25-year career in consulting with one of the top consulting firms in the world to help 1 billion people rewire their brains for happiness. Because I realized that the problem why we are struggling and drowning in this mental health crisis where 40-60% are stressed, exhausted, burnt out, 60% are lonely, 30% engagement in the work at work is not out there. The work was in here. And we could rewire, right? Our brains are neuroplastic. Just because our brains evolved over millions of years to kind of respond to threat and with a negativity bias, no reason that we have to say, well, that's how it is. We can change it. Barry, I loved your opening where you said, friends, think about we are swimming in miracles every day. Friends, look around you. Look around you. Barry just said, look within you, even, and said, you can hear, you can walk, things we take for granted. I
Which I
want,
couldn't do.
right? Exactly. I want you to look around and think about your environment around you for a minute. Just look around. If you're sitting at home, just look around. Just look around you. If you're on a street, stop for a minute. If you're listening to the podcast, and just look around and scan. If somebody woke up today from a world 250 years ago, this would be heaven.
It is.
Right? I want something, I can just order it and it shows up at my door. I don't even have to walk out of the house. 250 years ago, if I wanted to eat, I had to grow it. And by the way, I only had access to things that were in my village. Right? Outside of that, nothing was possible. You probably lived in a world where there was no running water. You lived in a world where there was no electricity. When the sun went down, the day ended. There was no heat if you live in a colder place, or air conditioning if you live in a hot place. It took so long to complete journeys. And now we just Uber, get in a car, or take a flight, and we can fly anywhere.
And by the way, be connected to the internet while flying at 30,000 feet.
And complaining about it when the phone, when the Wi-Fi goes away, right?
And some people, so this is the reason we're laughing and enjoying this is because we know who we are. I want to emphasize, again, just go to my website, barryshaw.com, all the great work that Ashish and his wonderful partner Anil are doing in building something called the Happiness Squad. This is a transformational process. I want to emphasize again to people, I've done it a number of times on all of my podcasts. People seek information. As we said, you're drowning in information. Information is readily available. By the way, a lot of it's contradictory. So you have to know how to navigate. Okay. But people are really not looking for information because there's a lot that you already know what you need to know. It's already in you. People are looking for inspiration. Well, I love listening to Barry Shore. He's so wonderful. That yes, I know I can do that, and you can do that. And of course, 46 hours later, it's okay. What are you on to now? Or sometimes only 3 hours later. Inspiration is a short-term process. What everybody is truly looking for, and what Ashish is mentioning, is what I call the T word: transformation.
Yes.
And transformation doesn't mean, oh my gosh, I have to get a whole new set of clothes. I have to change everything about me. No, being in touch with your very being. And again, it's a gentle, loving, beautiful, enveloping, and enlivening process. Everything about it is for your benefit. Ashish is telling us all how to be the butterfly. Who doesn't love butterflies? That's you. Remember, joy stands for joy of
You.
journey of you. Journey of you. What a beautiful journey. Let's go deeper into what it is that you and Anil have built, are building, and want to bring out to the world, because to touch a billion people is a wonderful dream, but you're not just dreaming, you're making it
Yes,
reality. Give us some concrete steps of what you're doing, please.
absolutely. So, friends, we created a model called the sunflower model. It's 9 practices that can make you light up internally like the sun, right? It truly is. You can, sunflower always follows the sun where it is. Did you know that?
Wait a
Always
minute.
faces the sun,
So,
right?
wait a minute. Did I know it intellectually? Yes. Did I feel it? Did I actually move my face as you said it? Because that's who we are. We, each one of us is, as Ashish just said, we're a sunflower.
Yeah. We can either look at our shadows or we can turn towards the sun where there is only light. That's what these practices are. You can learn more about them, right, in the book Hardwired for Happiness.
And
But
again, available, just go to barryshore.com and everything is there. You don't have to write anything down.
so you can go do it right there. But as I said, we didn't want to put another book out there for more knowledge and information. We wanted to help a billion people integrate this into their life. So, what did we do? We turned to the science of habit formation and we created a program called Rewire. Now, Rewire contains 35-minute micro practices. They're literally 5 minutes. And most of them require you to do nothing different. Because let's be honest, dear friends, who has time to do new things? Right? We all, as we said, we're busier than ever. We don't have time. So if I told you to do something different, the chances are you're not going to do it. So what we did is we actually made them really small, 5 minutes or less. Most importantly, we made them be about things that you can do differently. Things you already do, but do them differently rather than do different things. Okay? Really important. All I want you to do is just shift a little bit of what
Shift,
you're doing.
SHIFT. Keep that F in place so the other stuff happens.
That's what we want you to do. Just slightly shift what you're doing. I'll give you an example.
Yes, please.
A lot of people say, we should meditate. Look, I know meditation is powerful. I did a 10-day Vipassana silent meditation retreat. It is deeply transformative. It is not for most people. They're not going to do it. People don't even do 10 minutes of meditation a day. Less than 20% meditate. But friends, what if I said to you the following? Take 5 minutes in the day, actually 1 minute at a time, and just do whatever you're doing for a minute mindfully. Because what is mindfulness? It's paying attention on purpose, with intention, on the present moment, without judgment. Okay? So you wake up, you brush your teeth. Tomorrow or tonight, depending on when you're listening, for the first minute, just do it mindfully. Notice the brush, notice the toothpaste. When you put it in your mouth, feel the flavor, discover, get connected with it again. That's mindfulness.
Let me add a little bit of spice to that, if I may. So, in my first best-selling book of this past year, called "The Joy of Living," You Deserve It, which, by the way, as everybody should know, is available for free as an ebook. It's $14.95 value, but it's free because there's a wonderful couple that underwrites they put in the money to distribute 10,000 of them. They put up the money to do that. So It's yours for free. Just go to barryshore.com. You can find it. The reason I mentioned I wanted to pause you in this is because of the 11 strategies for learning how to live in joy daily. One of the strategies is called get uncomfortable. Now, what does that mean, get uncomfortable? Do I want you to be uncomfortable? Yes, because what happens if you shift away from your comfort zone, you'll become more mindful. And the example I give is brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand.
Wow.
Because, okay, toothpaste, I taste it and then, wait a minute, I'm a righty. I don't like doing that. But yeah, but when you do it with your non-dominant hand, guess what? By definition, you have to be present, because
Yes.
otherwise you get toothpaste all over your nose.
Love it. Do the same when you eat,
Right.
right? How many people eat while working? Don't do that. Just for 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute of your time. You can eat the rest of your meal working if your brain goes there and you need to. But just the first minute, notice your food, notice the texture, notice the colors, smell them. This food that you have today on your plate, that all it took was a little walk to the kitchen or the cupboard or the kind of restaurant 250 years ago. Think about how much you would have to put in the time and what would have shown up on your plate. But you have it, enjoy it. For 1 minute, favor it. Put it in your mouth, chew it mindfully, savor it. Savoring is a powerful way. And you know what, my friends? If you do it once, twice, or thrice, I promise you, you will find that you don't just do it for a minute. You will end up doing for at least half a meal, if not the whole meal. And just like that, over time, we will sow the seeds that will grow into orchards and fruits. But we're not going to go tell you. We're not going to go tell you to start with the fruit trees.
Right. So now you're beginning to understand why I love Ashish and Anil, and why I love listening with him and learning, and why I love having him on the show. Now we'll be going to go right to a break. We'll be right back. Again, utilize these sponsors that we have because they're so wonderful. We wouldn't have them on otherwise. And there'll be more Ashish on the other side. And we're going to learn more and really celebrate, dance to the music. Be right back on this brief message. Don't go away. Good day, everybody. Oh, something special for you. Amazing. Sometimes a great notion comes into the world and causes a shift that benefits everyone. Isn't that wonderful? Everyone benefits. This time it's called Einstein Cares. That's right, like Albert Einstein. EinsteinCares.com. EinsteinCares. EinsteinCares.com. Go there and sign up to be aware of when the site launches. Because guess what this site is all about? Its mission is to give $1 billion to charity without costing any giver a penny. Okay, I'm going to say it again. The mission is to give $1 billion to charity without costing any giver a penny. And it's based upon something everybody loves to do. Shop, have fun, give money at no cost. Go to EinsteinCares.com. That's EinsteinCares.com and register now so that when the site launches, you will be amongst the first to know about it. So you can shop, earn money, and give money at no cost. What a wonderful world to even be thinking about these things. EinsteinCares.com. Do it today. You'll thank me, and you know you love thanking me. Best wishes. Bye now. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. Don't you feel like a sunflower now? Aren't you reveling in this? Oh, there's so much more. Remember, just go to barryshore.com and everything you want to know about Ashish and what they're building is just so wonderful. I'm just going to mention before we go into this last segment, and the time goes by so fast, doesn't it? That I ask people who come on the show, tell me 3 topics you want to discuss. I also ask, tell me your 3 favorite books. And it's amazing because the 3 books that Ashish put down are part of my three favorite books. The, no, you can't live in the world and not be aware of Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. It's not humanly possible if you want to be human. That's it. And Inner Engineering by Sadhguru is just it's mandatory. That's just that simple. What really got me though is that the book You Are Here by Thich Nhat Hanh, because okay, most people don't know. It's a little bit of a foreign language, as I just said. But when you want to know about being present and mindful and just a loving being, it's Titch. I mean, it's there. So again, talk about simpatico. Okay, that was a little inside baseball stuff. Just we only have a few more minutes. Wonderful, Ashish. So let's just go on this really high note. Give us a couple. I want you to drop names of some either companies or groups that you mentioned. McKinsey. Okay, let's be blunt. Anybody who knows anything about business and business consulting knows that McKinsey is the premier. How should we call it? Uh, Management consulting firm in the world.
Yes.
That's what they say. I don't. It's management consulting means a business. Somebody to go in and really allow a business to multiply and grow and do whatever they do in their mission. But give us some names. Drop some names of companies or people that you've worked with that are understanding what it is that you and Anil are really bringing to the world.
Yeah, thank you, Barry. Look, I think the companies that we have worked with, we are helping companies like Trivium Packaging. It's a $2.5 billion packaging company. We're helping other companies like Tillamook, one of the largest dairy companies, right? They do all good dairy. We are helping companies like Crocs truly unleash the power of flourishing to achieve results that they want. Because the data is very clear, Barry. A lot of people say, happiness, why should we worry about happiness? Well, first of all, happiness is human performance. You don't have to look at research from Oxford that just shows that companies that actually have flourishing cultures, right? Companies where people are happy with work, they call it work happiness. They have higher shareholder returns, higher profitability, and higher return on assets. You don't need that research to prove that to you. Just think about your own research. As one of my colleagues and somebody I've learned a lot from, Tal Ben Shahar, says, just do some research. When are you at your most creative, innovative? Is it when you're happy, or is it when you're angry, stressed, exhausted?
Good. Look, I
When?
want to take those words: angry, stressed, exhausted. Everybody in the world, knows what those words mean. And as you say them or think them, what you're doing is you're constricting your very being, mentally, physically,
Exactly.
spiritually. When you are in happiness and in joy and in giving, you are expanding your consciousness. You are a creative force. And by definition, you are bringing forth the best you. And that means, oh, wow, what about this? Ideas, ideas of touching, connecting, making things better. That's who you are.
That's it. And as leaders of companies, it is our responsibility to make sure that our employees flourish, because only then can we actually rise to the challenges that we are facing. We can deliver higher performance that our investors want. We can create better solutions that our customers want. We can do it in a way that is more sustainable, that Mother Earth wants. Everybody wins.
Oh my gosh,
Everybody
those two
wins.
words. We love those words. Everybody wins. That's what WWW stands for. WWW stands for What a Wonderful World. Win, win, win.
That's it. And that's what we are in a mission for, friends. So it is possible. We don't have to surrender to our hardwiring for fear. Let's take charge. Let's start to master our inner worlds. And if you do that, I promise you, You can make happiness your competitive edge. You can truly be more successful. You can be happier. You'll be more successful. You'll be more healthy. You'll be more creative. You'll be more innovative, more adaptable. Everything you want, you can get by making happiness. That means start from within, choose it.
As the Bible says, the word of the Lord himself or herself said, I give you today good and evil, life and death. And then the Lord says or writes down, choose life. Hello.
Yes.
That's okay. Wonderful, Ashish. We have our time on this section is closing. I have 3 quick questions for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Number 1 question, will you come back again?
My pleasure.
Oh,
Absolutely.
thank you. Thank you. Number 2, you have only 80 seconds to answer this. What is your most fervent desire?
My fervent desire is truly, in my lifetime and beyond, to help 1 billion people rewire themselves for happiness and truly turn the tide back away from these crises that we're swimming in into a lot more gentler, kinder, happier world.
We
Where,
will do that together.
right? Together, where not just humans thrive, but every sentient being
Remember,
thrives.
it's us, united souls.
Yeah.
And number 3, may I give you a hug in front of now 368,918 people around the world? Let me tell
Yes.
everybody what HUG stands for. HUG stands for Heartfelt Unlimited Giving. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh my God.
And this is, of course, the joy of living. You tuned in consciously and conscientiously because you care the most in the entire world about you. And that's great because when you become the best you make the world a better place. You bring more joy, happiness, peace, and love. And by using the 3 fundamentals of life, which are number 1, life, your life has purpose. When you lead a purpose-driven life, number 2 happens, you go mad. MAD stands for make a difference in the world. The 3rd is to uncover the power in the sequence of everyday words and terms. And as a result, you'll be happier, healthier, wealthier. Not only promise it, we guarantee it or double your money back. Now, remember, what is one of the greatest words you could ever utilize, leverage, in your life? Smile. Smile stands for seeing miracles in life every day. Or as my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Create the kind of world you want to live in, as Ashish said to us, causing, rethinking, enabling all to excel. It's a shift, a small shift in your thinking. We can rewire ourselves. It's up to you. Joy stands for journey of you. And when you do that, what will happen? You will unleash the creative process in you. Remember the 6 most important words you'll be able to utilize, internalize, and leverage. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. That's right, choice. How you choose to respond in any given situation will determine where you're going and how fast you're going to get there. Use 4-letter words. Remember, in our world, positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, 4-letter words like love, life, hope, free, gift, pray, play, swim, and tell the world to F you. Capital N, capital N. So after the show, you see your family and friends, point your finger and say, F you, everybody. So where'd you get that? I said, I listen to Barry Shore and the joy of living, and he wants to teach the world to F you. Capital N, capital N. Use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day, consciously and conscientiously. And they are, thank you, thank you, thank you, to harmonize and nurture kindness. And a blessing from Ashish and Barry. Go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Ashish, don't go away.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.